Welcome to another lesson. Today we're going to be looking at waves and tides. Waves and tides. And here is a YouTube link which you can use as your other sources, other resources. You can check it out on YouTube to give you more explanation about waves and tides. Now our textbook is still the same, page 114 to page 116, and workbook page 69. Page 114 to page 116 and workbook page 69. So we have some objectives. Describe how ocean's waves are formed. Explain how the moon causes the tides to rise and fall. And we're going to discuss some effect of waves and tides on people and wildlife. Here are some keywords. Intertidal zone. Intertidal zone. The environment between low and high tides on the seashore. Tide. The twice daily rise and fall of the ocean caused by the force of gravity from the moon and the sun. Waves, repeated up and down or to and fro that travels away from a wave source, energy from place to place. Water waves and sound waves are examples of wave motion. Wind, the movement of air in the atmosphere. All these keywords will be seen in our lesson, and that is the meaning of intertidal zone, tide, waves, wind. Now, if you have been to the beach, all these you will have seen it, but you might not know that these are the words they are being called. So as we go on to the lesson, you begin to unfold the meaning of those words. Okay, now waves, 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 waves. You can see the picture. This is a wave on the ocean. This is the wave on the ocean. Now, a wave is a regular undulation of the sea surface. Now you can see that's the wave on the sea. Wind blowing across the sea whips the water surface and ripples. This is ripples. Now, if you have a bowl of water, maybe you have a pebble or a stone, you throw it inside the water, you will see like a round, like a circle. That is ripples. If the wind is strong enough and blows far enough over the water, the ripples build up into waves. The ripples build up into waves. Now, this is saying that when the wind is strong and high, these small ripples here build into waves. Now you can see the wave like moving like this on the water. So the size of the waves depends not only on the strength of the wind, but also on the distance the wind has to blow them up. In big oceans, the effect is so great that huge, regular, unbroken waves will develop that can travel thousands of kilometers. Although waves travel far, the water in them stayed the same, moving around in circles. Now, if you have been to a beach before, you will see that, you will probably have seen this if you have been to the beach. You will see this, the water. Now, if there is a strong wind, you will see that there is going to be a heap of water coming from afar and it will be running towards the shore. The shore, that is the tip of the sea. That is waves, 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 waves. And this does not change the size of the ocean. It is still the same size. It's still the same volume. And it goes moving around in circles. Now we have what we call great waves. What are great waves? They are the hurricane and tsunami. Now, hurricane force winds make waves higher than houses. You can imagine water standing up more than the top of a building, the high-rise building. It is dangerous to sail a boat in these conditions. But these waves are small compared to a tsunami. Wow, tsunami is very, very dangerous. Tsunami is very, very dangerous. Imagine a water standing tall ahead of a house. We're now saying tsunami is more dangerous than a hurricane. So, a tsunami is a giant wave caused by an earthquake under the ocean. So the earthquake will start from under the ocean. It can be 30 meters high. When it reaches the shore, it washes away people and animals and destroys their homes. Wow. So you can see the effect, how it is dangerous. This is an hurricane. This is hurricane. This is a hurricane on the surface of the earth. But this is a tsunami. It started like earthquake under the ocean. Now, it does what? It sweeps people, it kills everybody. So that is tsunami. Tsunami is very, very dangerous. Now, here is an activity of which you can make waves. All you need is a tank or a bowl of water and a cork. A cork is the cover of a bottle, like a water bottle, or this water bottle that they sell at the malls, the shops. You can get them the cover, then you blow hard on the water, then you put the cork inside the bowl of water, then you blow it like a breeze, you blow it, and you witness how the cork will move from one end to the other, and it's going to form like a waves on it. It's going to form like a wave on it. You can try and practice that at home. Now let's go to tides. Tides. Now sailors and fishermen know that twice a day the sea level rises and twice a day it falls. Now, you have been to the beach, you see that sometimes the sea level will rise up and it will come down. Now, this is for fishermen, for sailors, they already know this. There is a tide. There's a time the water level will rise, and there's a time it's going to decrease. So this rise and fall is called the tide. In some places in the Atlantic coast, the tide can rise and fall by 10 meters or more. It can rise or more. So the rise and fall of the tide in the Mediterranean and the Red Sea is smaller, usually less than 1 meter. Now here is the low tide down. This is the rise of the water, low, compared to this place, high. This is the low tide and this is the high tide. This is the rise of water. The water has dropped here and here. It is more. It is more. You can see the water. You can even see it here. There is a high tide and there is a low tide. So the rise and the fall of seawater is called the tide. Now, how does it happen? What causes tide? Now, let's see. This diagram shows how the force of gravity from the moon stretches the oceans, making them bulge. You can see this is the earth. These are the oceans. They are bulging, they're coming out on either side. This is bulge, on either side of the earth. Now this is the ocean. Low tide, this is the low tide, and this is the high tide. Alright, low tide 16 hours after high tide. Now this is the high tide, this is the low tide. Now this is the gravity towards the moon, stretches towards the moon. Now, how the moon raises the tide. Now let's see. Every 24 hours, the earth makes a complete turn on its axis. We all know that the earth rotates on its axis. It's going round. That is what it's called. It's going round. So the pull on the earth is strongest on the side nearest to the moon. Now this is the moon. So the pull of the earth is stronger and is weak on the side that is far to the moon. The earth is stretched into a slight oval in line with the moon. This is how it's stretched. This makes the ocean bulge up in a high tide, either side of the earth. Now, this is how it's tied when there is a pull on it. This is the pull of gravity. As it rotates, each part of the ocean rises as a high tide twice each day and falls again twice in between as low tide. Now this is the low tide and this is the high tide. So this happens twice daily, high tides and low tides. Now, the tides have an important effect on wildlife. This is the intertidal zone. Intertidal zone that I talked about. Here is the high tide and here is the low tide. Now you see some animals. You see some animals like a crab, a snail, some worms and all that. So the intertidal zone is the area on the shore between low water and high water. This ecosystem is the home for many kinds of animals. You can see them. And is important food source for humans. Some people eat crabs, snails, shrimps, and so many things. So high water brings in nutrients that small filter feeders such as ragworms and clams feed on. Now, so when there is high water, it brings food. So low water exposes the sand and mud flat. Now, birds can feed on the worms and shellfish that seek shelter below the sand. You can see this. This is the low tide. So anything that is exposed here, birds can feed on them. And humans can also dig for shellfish. You can see them. You can see them here. This is the low tide. Okay. They're looking for what? Looking for shellfish. So the importance is that it serves as food for humans and even some animals too as well. So this is tides and wildlife. So what have you learned today? Check that out on page 116. Use the workbook and use your textbook to complete what you have learned. Use the workbook and worksheets and your textbook to fill what you have learned. And you have some keywords: the intertidal zone, the tide, waves, wind. And here is your workbook talking about waves and tide. You draw a water wave traveling across the water surface in the stand. How can you draw it? I'll show you the picture, then you match the definition with the word in the box. We explain the importance of intertidal zone to wildlife and people. It's the last slide. It's important, used as food. Now here, you draw how tides are formed. You draw how tides are formed. Now we've come to the end of the class. Any concerns, any problems, any doubts, kindly